Hello everybody, welcome back, and I'm the Chornik, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about, Clemont and Bonnie are returning to the Pokemon anime, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's been a while. I don't really post many Pokemon videos much because, of course, Show Pro could be out there lingering in the dark. So if you guys have been wondering why I haven't been posting many Pokemon anime videos, it's because, Show Pro and copyright and stuff like that. So that's always a big concern to me. So going forward, I might be very picky on what I release in regards to Pokemon anime stuff. But because Clemont and Bonnie are returning, I thought might want to talk about this a little bit. So awesome. Clemont and Bonnie returning is cool. I mean, we've had a lot of returns so far in this series. I mean, Gary, Iris, Dawn, couple others as well. We even had Butch and Cassidy. So we had some nice appearances from old characters. There's a lot of speculation in the community that Serena might also return because of apparently the Eevee's hairpin in Chloe's Eevee is the same or really similar to Serena. So people are really making some really out there speculation just because of things like that. They're really looking for every little detail. I'm really scared with returns because I'm always worried that they're going to ruin characters, because so far there's in the community, it seems like it's kind of like two sides. One side is kind of like really happy that we see characters returning, and they're just happy to see them, right? Whereas the other side of the community is like, oh, please don't ruin them. I'm at too, because at the same time, I'm happy to see characters again, but I'm also really, really worried about them being ruined. So, Clemont, from the picture we've seen, it looks like he's back to, not being able to be good at, his inventions. They keep blowing up. And that was, a thing that happened in the beginning of X and Y. But towards the end of the series, he became way more competent. He became way more competent as a trainer and way more competent as an inventor as well. He was starting to have less and less inventions explode. He was getting better at it. So I'm hoping that during this time that he's been away, that he's kind of, actually got really good at making inventions and not having them explode or go wrong or whatever. And at the very beginning of X and Y, he was really scared and not feeling competent in himself, or having the courage to go retake his gym back from his robot that he built. And then at the very end of X and Y, he's this awesome trainer who went neck and neck with Ash, almost beat him, right, in that gym battle. And then, even at the end of the series, defeated a bunch of Team Flare people, went and freaking marched right back up into his tower, retook his gym, lost and sacrificed his robot so that he could save the city. Clemont was amazing, to be honest. He had a really good ending to his story. Bonnie, she kind of didn't really have an arc, as far as, if I remember correctly. I don't think she really had this character transition necessarily where she became a better person or something. She kind of had her thing with Zygarde. She had her kind of thing with making fun of her brother and then trying to get him a wife or whatever, but that's all I could really remember about Bonnie. But Clemont really transitioned from this nervous wreck of a person to an absolute badass. So that's why I'm really concerned that they're going to revert Clemont back to being kind of a weakling, kind of an incompetent person again, because it took his entire original series to get him this far and to make him look like a really awesome trainer. I'm really concerned about them ruining his character. And I really understand that part of the community about thinking that they're going to ruin these characters. What's the point bringing them back and showing them that they either reverted back to the way they were in the beginning of their series, or not really showing much progression? Is do they not have a life outside of Ash? You know what I'm saying? Iris, okay, she's a champion now. Her Axew evolved all the way to Haxorus, and then she got whooped. You know what I mean? So they didn't really show a big progression other than, okay, this Pokemon just evolved, and Iris apparently is a champion now. That's about it. They didn't really show much else. I think Iris was actually handled pretty well. But I think the battle was just kind of what? Isn't she a champion now? So I know there's different sides to this. Some people are really happy with certain characters' appearances Iris's was kind of nice to see that she became the champion. Like she actually did something outside of her journey with Ash. Whereas like a couple of the other characters, like Dawn, like didn't really do much. Even Piplup is still Piplup, right? Like, and that's basically all we see every single time Dawn comes back is she mainly just uses Bunnery and Piplup. Gary, he has a hell of a team. I mean, we saw some more scans of his full team. He's a Tyranitar also, I think. Freaking awesome. He's like a bunch of great Pokemon. Arcanine, Blastoise, Electivire. Like, he's a awesome team. Umbreon. So I like that we're seeing more Gary because we haven't seen him in a good long time. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you could post your thoughts and feelings about how you feel about these returns. Do you like the fact that Journeys is continuing to return these various characters of the past? You know, having them show up. Do you think Serena's gonna appear? In my opinion, it's all coming down to like, are they gonna handle it well? Otherwise, if they're not gonna handle it well, don't do it at all because you don't want to ruin characters that people love. And I think that's why me and a lot of other people are just like kind of worried because we're worried that they're going to ruin these characters, especially with like Serena and how her story ended. Like I just said, Clemont's story, it was short, but it was good. Like he went from someone that was incompetent, that all of his inventions were blowing up. He was scared to go back into his gym and retake it, you know, to him retaking it, him fixing Clemont, to him like destroying Team Flare and like saving the city. Like I really hope they don't ruin him. You know, like his story was so good. I hope they just don't bring him in and have Bonnie say some stuff to Chloe about like, oh, marry my brother or something like that. You know, like and say something like because even she had an episode where that backfired on her and the girl actually ended up liking Clement and then like and she didn't like it and so like but she didn't learn from that. She still keeps doing it. So like I really hope that Bonnie is at least a little bit different because Bonnie didn't really have much character progression other than just having her bond with Zygarde, to be honest, and other Pokemon where she was just really cute with like that Tyrantrum, for example. But that's really all like Bonnie was really useful like was used for was like cute moments and cute relationships that she had, and then obviously the little gag with marry my brother. Serena though, if she comes back, I don't know how they're gonna do it. Honestly, like because the ending of X and Y was probably the best I think a more shippers could ask for. Like given the fact that it's a kid show and everything, like she actually went and kissed the man. How are you gonna handle that when she comes back? What's gonna be the interaction? You know what I mean? Like maybe Clement and Bonnie, when they appear, maybe they talk about Serena, and we could see some reactions from Ash. What is the reaction to that? You know, like hearing her name, or maybe they go ahead and they watch her on television, you know, Pokevision or where they call it, right? Maybe they go and watch one of her performances or something. Maybe they just watch her on TV or something, and that's like her cameo. I feel like that's a lot more safe. But especially Serena is like the hardest to bring back because it's like her ending was not just like a great ending for her as a character and her and Ash's relationship, like for the moment, especially with, you know, them being this young and not being like a love anime and whatnot. Like when you bring her back, what's gonna be the reactions? Like it's almost like scary to think about. Like what's gonna happen? How are they gonna handle it? There's so many ways that they can go with it. Ash Greninja also, I really hope we see him. A lot of people have been theorizing that he's coming back. I really hope he gets out of that lawn business, man, and cutting all those black weeds or whatever. Because the man deserves to be at least home with the rest of Ash's Pokemon, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least bring him back there. Like, come on. I would really appreciate that if they could just bring Ash Greninja back. Maybe he fights Leon's Charizard with Ash Greninja and ends up winning the whole thing. But even Infernape coming back, which is another character, by the way, like, from what I hear, they really butchered that. Like, he ended up getting just slapped. I'm kind of worried about that, too. So, like, you could see why there's, like, concern about bringing these characters back and how they're going to handle them. Maybe leaving Serena as is the best course of action. Maybe leaving Clemont as is the best course of action. showing characters being incompetent when at the end of their arc became competent, like that just really undermines the previous series. Like pretty much just ruins their whole story. And it also starts to making me feel like, you know what, maybe returns aren't so great. I haven't seen all of them, to be honest, but this is just what I hear from the community. I gotta catch up for sure, but of course, Show Pro's always lingering in the dark, so I'm always skeptical about posting Pokemon videos, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the explanation as why too I haven't posted many Pokemon anime videos for a good long while, because that's the thing. It's like once I post something, I'm always worried that it's gonna get taken down because fair use isn't the same over in Japan, and they could get very, very picky, even with just pictures like this, right? And the lawyer just showing you a picture, and like it's like, oh nope. So it's just it's crazy, man. But anyway, guys, you could post in the comment section below what your thoughts and feelings about all this are. Do you think Serena's gonna return? And if she does, how exactly do you want it to be handled? Tell me exactly how you want that story to act, and how exactly do you want Clement's and Bonnie's story to act, because those are the two new characters coming back. In my honest opinion, I don't know how they're gonna handle Serena. Like I literally see that as like it was too good of an ending for her to like come back and just be chill as a friend. You know what I mean? Like I just don't see that happening. Like they can't be just friends anymore. You know what I mean? Like if she comes back, there's gonna be weird tension going on, or at least people would be expecting that. For Clemont, for me, it's more of like, please just don't make him incompetent. Like, please just don't reverse his character back to the way he was in the beginning of the series. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm hoping for. And Bonnie, like, please give her something else. You know, besides just the gag and being wholesome with a couple different Pokemon. Like, give her something else. They were good characters, but just give her something else. You know, like, treat them right, you know. But by the way of the picture, I don't think that's the case. But if they do show Serena in this series, I think it's very safe that they just show her on TV, and that Ash, Clemont, and Bonnie together watch their good old friend Serena. And maybe you could see a little reaction out of Ash's face. I think that's good. I think that's safe. I think that's the only thing. Like, if I was in charge of this show, I'd be like, look, if we're gonna continue the story with Ash, and we're gonna bring her back, like, I would just say, you know what, let's just be safe. Let's put her on the TV, because, you know, she's going off and doing contests and shows and being famous and whatnot, right? Off in another world. And then show a little spark in Ash's eye. You know, maybe a little happiness. Maybe Bonnie teases him a little bit. Maybe she just like little tease at the kiss thing, you know. But that's about it. Not too much. I'm not seeing it, not from a Pokemon standpoint, where I don't think they're gonna go into the route of like the romance. I don't think they're gonna go on a huge romance arc with Ash and Serena. You know, I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I would be hella surprised if they actually really go into depth about romance with Ash. You know what I mean? Like really into, like, and actually have a whole arc when she comes back, and like have them go on a date or have them talk. Like, what are they gonna talk about? Like, you gotta really be careful with what you say, and it's like with what the writers are gonna say in that regard. Like, that's a touchy subject, man. But it's just the worry in the back of my head that they're gonna ruin them somehow. You know, like it's just like, how are they gonna do this? You know, that happened with a bunch of other shows I liked. I mean, just look at like Star Wars, for example. They ruined Star Wars. Like Disney ruined Star Wars with the whole new trilogy and everything. They ruined the characters, basically. Threw Luke back into being this person that doesn't believe he could turn people back to the light side, blah, blah, blah. So stuff like that, it can happen. So that's like a perfect example of people wanting to see these characters again, but then all of a sudden, okay, I'd rather not if you're just going to go mess them up. You know, like, it's worse in that case. I wish you could just delete it entirely. You know, so it's stuff like that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I love your faces. Can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Post your comments and thoughts and the feelings and the thing down below. Do you guys have a really good storyline for how you think, you know, these characters, these XY characters, Ash, Greninja even? What do you guys think is going to be a great story if they do come back? How do you think you would handle it? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I love your faces. Can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Maybe we'll see Serena in the next one. And peace off. Thank you very much.